Imagine receiving an invitation to a party in a mansion you've never heard of. Would you dare to go? Picture this: a group of unsuspecting friends, each with their own quirks and personalities, stumble upon an intriguing piece of mail. It's an invitation, elegant yet cryptic, with ornate lettering that whispers of a time long past. The location? An old mansion, nestled away in a forgotten corner of the city, a place that none of them have ever heard of. The sender unknown. Only a time and a place are given, with no additional details, no RSVP contact, no hint of the host. It's a puzzle, a mystery, an adventure waiting to unfold. Intrigued and excited, they decide to take the plunge, to follow the breadcrumbs of this cryptic invitation. Little did they know this was an invitation they should have declined. Upon arriving, they found a mansion, old and decrepit, standing ominously against the darkened sky. This was not a house that welcomed visitors with open arms. No, this was a place where the walls whispered secrets and shadows danced with hidden intentions. It was a relic from another time, covered in a shroud of mystery and dread. The mansion, nestled within a forgotten corner of the world, wore its age like a badge of honor. The once vibrant paint was now chipped and faded. The grand windows no longer sparkled but stood clouded and dull. Ivy had claimed much of the exterior, crawling up the walls in an endless, silent battle against the stone. The mansion's once manicured gardens were now a wild tangle of overgrown foliage, nature's silent reclaim of man's forgotten endeavor. As they ventured inside, the mansion's secrets unfurled. The air was heavy with dust and the scent of decay, a testament to the years of neglect. The once grand hallways echoed with an eerie silence, broken only by the creaking of ancient floorboards under their tentative steps. The rooms, though empty, were far from lifeless. Each one was a time capsule, etched with the invisible imprints of the past. As they navigated through the mansion, they could hear whispering voices, soft, barely audible, like a breeze rustling through old papers. The words were indistinguishable, but the tone was clear. A symphony of sorrow and longing. The shadows too seemed to have a life of their own. Dancing on the walls, they twisted and turned, creating strange shapes that defied the logic of the dim, flickering light. A sense of unease settled over them as they explored deeper, a feeling that they were not alone, that they were being watched. The mansion was no longer just a building, it was a living, breathing entity. It was a silent observer, a keeper of secrets, a haunted echo of the past. As the mansion's front door slammed shut, they realized they were not alone. A chill ran down their spines as they heard a voice welcoming them to the mansion. The voice was rich, deep, and filled with a kind of mirth that was more disturbing than comforting. It echoed through the halls, bouncing off the cold stone walls and weaving its way through the antiquated furniture. "Welcome, my dear guests," it began, its tone dripping with a sickening sweetness. "I trust you're finding your accommodations to your liking." There was a pause, as if the unseen host was waiting for a response. When none came, the voice continued, its laughter echoing through the mansion. "Ah, silence, the voice of the terrified, how delightful." As the night wore on, the voice became their constant companion. It was there in the silence, whispering dark secrets into their ears. It was there in the darkness, filling the mansion with its eerie laughter. It was there in their dreams, tormenting them with visions of their past. Each revelation was more disturbing than the last. The voice knew things that were deeply personal and haunting. It knew about their fears, their regrets, their past mistakes. It seemed to take a perverse pleasure in revealing these secrets, in watching the horror spread across their faces. And then, the voice began to play with them. It would disappear for hours, leaving them in silence, only to return when they least expected it. It would change its tone from sweet and welcoming to menacing and cruel. It would mimic their voices, their cries of terror, their pleas for mercy. The more they tried to ignore it, the louder it became. The more they tried to escape it, the closer it seemed to get. The more they tried to fight it, the stronger it became. And as the night wore on, the voice became more than just a voice. It became a presence, a force that filled the mansion, that consumed their every thought, that haunted their every step. And then, just as the first light of dawn began to creep into the mansion, the voice laughed, echoing through the mansion, promising them a night they would never forget. As they delved deeper into the mansion, they stumbled upon a horrifying truth. The walls of the mansion, as grand and imposing as they were, held a secret so chilling it could freeze the blood in your veins. The unseen host that had lured them here was none other than the spectral remnant of the mansion's original owner, a ghost forever trapped in the confines of this sprawling estate, and now it sought to entrap them too. The characters began to piece together fragments of the mansion's dark history, each revelation more bone-chilling than the last. Dusty tomes in the library spoke of a man consumed by greed and obsession, the mansion's owner, who in his pursuit of immortality had made a pact with the shadowy forces of the netherworld. When the pact backfired, he was cursed to haunt the mansion for eternity, his spirit never finding peace. The group was gripped by a cold dread as they realized their host's intentions. They were to be the next victims, their spirits to join the owners in a never-ending dance of death within the mansion's walls. The mansion was not just a house, it was a prison, a trap, a purgatory for lost souls. The once inviting halls now seemed like a labyrinth, designed to disorient and ensnare. But amidst the fear and despair, a glimmer of hope emerged. The characters discovered that there was a way to break free from this ghostly trap. They would have to confront the ghost, face the horrific past it was bound to, and help it find the peace it had been denied for so long. It was a daunting task, one fraught with danger and uncertainty, but it was their only chance of escape. The only way out, they learned, was to confront the ghost and its horrific past. With courage they didn't know they possessed, they prepared to face their unseen tormentor. Their hearts pounded like war drums, echoing the intensity of the looming battle. The ghost, a specter of sorrow and rage, awaited them in the shadows. They had unearthed the ghost's tragic past, a tale of betrayal and heartbreak. Now they used this knowledge as their weapon, their beacon of hope in the gloom. They spoke words of truth to the ghost, words that pierced the fog of centuries-old resentment. The confrontation was as much a mental battle as it was spiritual. Each fear faced, each insecurity conquered was another step towards victory. They had to stand firm, staring into the cold, ethereal face of their terror. It was a test of their resolve, a measure of their courage. The ghost, confronted with its past, gradually lost its power over them. As the sun rose, the mansion, once terrifying, stood silent. They had survived the night, but they would never be the same.